This is the Mistress Carrie Situation Report for March 4th, 2026. Back in 2023, Pussifer, Perfect Circle, and Primus got together for the Santa Tour to celebrate Maynard James Keenan's birthday. Maynard was asked recently in an interview if the tour would be coming back. He said, quote, "I felt like if Les Claypool and Billy Howardell agrees that unless we actually have new songs to do, it doesn't make any sense to take that out. So Les, I'm sure, is now working with Lar and John Hoffman to do some new Primus songs, which would then tee it up for us to go out and do another Santa. But that also requires me starting to work with Billy to get new songs from A Perfect Circle as well." Turnstile stopped by Australian radio station Triple J and performed a cover of the Stone Roses' I Want to Be Adored for their long-running Like a Version series. Turnstile are getting ready to hit the road with massive festival appearances, including Coachella, Bonnaroo, Shaky Knees, and a handful of European and UK festivals. The band also just won a pair of Grammys. The band paying tribute to the Stone Roses, who recently lost their longtime bassist, Gary Manny Mounfield, who passed away on November 20th at the age of 63. Gorillaz have announced their first extensive North American tour in nearly 4 years. Gorillaz The Mountain Tour hits the United States and Canada with a stop in Boston, Massachusetts at the TD Garden on October 1st. Tickets go on sale March 9th at Gorillaz.com. Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman have announced an extensive U.S. headlining tour, performing as the Guess Who for the first time in 23 years. Dubbed Taking It Back Tour, the newly announced U.S. dates kick off in June. Burton Cummings saying, "Randy and I are incredibly grateful that our music has endured all these years. Knowing that people still want to hear these songs live means everything to us, and we want to go out on stage. Our goal is to truly honor the music." Multiple stops in New England include July 8th in Guilford, New Hampshire at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion, in Uncasville, Connecticut on July 16th at the Mohegan Sun Arena, and July 17th at the Leader Bank Pavilion in Boston, Massachusetts. Sharon Osbourne has officially confirmed that plans are underway to revive the Ozfest in 2027, marking the first new edition of the influential metal festival since 2018. Sharon Osbourne saying, "Well, the last one we did was in 2018. It was just a month before Ozzy got sick. It was at the Forum in LA, and there was no plans to stop it. We were still going to do it, but Ozzy couldn't. Ozzy and I would talk about it, and he would say, 'Do you think Ozfest would still work without me?' And I'm like, 'Yeah, it's a brand. It will work without you.' And he said, 'Then we should do it.'" Metallica just confirmed more dates for their Sphere takeover, confirming the band will be in Las Vegas on November 5th and 7th and January 28th and 30th. Fan club pre-sales begin today. Tickets go on sale to the general public this Friday. Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins has a theory about why rock music hasn't been prevalent as it was in mainstream culture as in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. The Smashing Pumpkins frontman believes that rock was, quote, purposefully dialed down beginning in the late 90s. On his Magnificent Others podcast, he discussed the state of rock music with his guest, writer and cultural commentator Conrad Flynn, saying, quote, "I think, and I will say it overtly, I think that rock has been purposely dialed down in the culture. Again, this gets wizard behind the curtain, right? Somebody's going to say, well, how do you know it was the wizard behind the curtain? All I know is I saw the gravity shift. If you were at MTV around 1997 or 1998, suddenly they decided rock was out when rock was still very, very high up in the thing, and they replaced it by rap. Their standards and practices immediately shifted, and now things that weren't allowed were suddenly allowed. People were waving guns. Some people assert that the CIA was involved in that. Again, it's above my pay grade, but I saw it happen. I did witness it happen." Killswitch Engage have announced a headlining tour featuring Machine Head, Iron Regan, and Havoc. Tickets go on sale to the general public this Friday, March 6th, with a stop in Boston, Massachusetts on June 12th at Roadrunner. A massive new statue of Ozzy Osbourne is set to be unveiled at this year's edition of Hellfest, which takes place from June 18th through July 21st. Hellfest, the annual open-air festival held in France, one of the biggest metal festivals in all of Europe. Sharon Osbourne sharing the first photo of the 6-meter-tall statue, which will be placed by the Hellfest entrance. Sharon Osbourne calling it, quote, an amazing piece of art. Twisted Sister members JJ French and Eddie Ojeda have announced that former Skid Row lead singer Sebastian Bach will front the band for a handful of select dates this fall. The appearances do not affect or conflict with Sebastian's current or future solo touring schedule, which remains fully intact. Dee Snider, making an appearance on Chris Cale from Five Finger Death Punch's podcast, was asked about the idea of someone replacing him in the band. He said, quote, I hope so. I believe there's got to be somebody out there who can kick ass. Courtney Love posted a video of Melissa Oftemauer on Instagram, soundtracked by the band's 1998 hit, Malibu. Alongside clips of the bassist, Love tagged Oftemauer's account and wrote, quote, so do we tell the kids about the tour? Oftemauer teased, it starts with eternal love. Courtney Love also reposted a photo from the Chateau Marmont on Instagram stories, photographed a few months before their monumental Celebrity Skin was released in September 1998. The image featured Courtney Love, Oftemauer, and guitarist Eric Erlandson posed by the hotel pool. Earlier this year, Anti-Heroin, a new documentary on Courtney Love, premiered at Sundance. David Fear, a critic for Rolling Stone, said, quote, moments of blunt, borderline brutal honesty coming directly from the source that make the whole endeavor such a necessary counterpoint to all of the mythology that sprung up around Love and speaks to an accountability which she's arrived at on the way to accepting herself. And that's your sit rep. For more details on all of the stories, check the links in the show notes of this episode. And don't forget to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Episode 300 featuring Kurt Deimer is available now.